Hello, good evening and welcome to the Motorland Aragon Circuit here in Spain. We're gathered together for the second round of the 2019 MotoGP eSport Global Series. We had a fantastic start to the championship just a week ago in Italy, and we have another 2 races coming up for you here this evening. And alongside me once again to take us through proceedings, please give a big welcome for Amy Dargan.
Good evening. Well, I think we can agree that our first 2 races sprang more than a few surprises, especially the Red Bull Ring. If you didn't catch races 1 and 2, we've got some highlights coming up for you later on. But for the first time this evening, let's head down to our boys in the box. It's Matt Dunn and Jack Appleyard.
Yes, good evening everyone. Welcome back to the commentary position. What a way to kick off the 2019 Global Series it was last week in Misano. But no rest for the wicked. We're back just 7 days later with 2 more races coming your way. The first in Sepang and then in Aragon. And to help me talk you through all of the action, my right-hand man on my left, it's Matt Dunn.
On your left, on their right. Thanks a lot, Jack. I was going to say my heart rate's only just about gone down after last week. But with this amount of wind coming into our commentary booth and that steep drop behind us, it's gone up a bit again. But I'm looking forward to another night of epic esports racing.
You two be careful up there. We don't want you causing yourself a mischief before we get going tonight. Right, I think it's time for us to remind you of our 12 Global Series competitors doing battle here this evening.
2 solid finishes on his Suzuki means he's still a genuine title contender. It's Adrian DP 26.
Back to defend his eSport crown. He scored a podium in the Open in Mugello. It's our 2-time world champion, Trastevere.
Next up, we have a birthday boy in the house, turning 22 today from Barcelona. It's Ryorka.
One of last year's finalists, but he needs to cut out the crashes if he wants to challenge tonight. Please give a welcome to Bomber 45.
He scored a magnificent podium in race 2. Let's not forget, he's still a rookie from Brazil and riding for Pramac Racing. It's Malaysia.
Yeah, and also let's welcome back the man from Belgium who's 24 years of age riding the Red Bull KTM Tech 3. Here's Wim.
Next up, one of our new faces for 2019. He's got some work to do tonight from Brisbane, Australia. It's Mr. TFTW.
Taking second place in the Red Bull Ring race where he cemented his reputation as a hard charger on the Red Bull KTM. From Spain, Juan NH.
Making a solid start to the Global Series. He's well placed after Misano. All the way from Indonesia, it's Moe.
Not necessarily the start this experienced campaigner would have wanted. He's representing Repsol Honda, 8th overall. It's Elegos 555.
Our poleman and eventual winner of Mugello, it's Andrew ZH.
And finally, our championship leader who took a win and a second place last time out. He's back again on the Suzuki. It's Christian MM17. Yeah, good luck to Christian and all the gamers tonight, Amy.
Absolutely, Gavin. Let's not forget, they are playing for some seriously, seriously cool prizes. Our top poleman will be walking away with a stunning Tissot watch. Top 3 in the championship standings will all be heading to the Red Bull Hangar 7 for a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Yeah, and on top of that, 3rd place overall takes over a brand new Lenovo Legion laptop. 2nd place will race home on a new Yamaha R3. And our overall winner in the Global Series this year wins a brand new BMW M140i. It's time to clear some space in the garages. But I suspect that our boys in the booth, I know how they like to flash their cash. They're pretty cool prizes, chaps, but you've already got all that stuff already, haven't you?
Mate, can you not see this Tissot watch here? It's absolutely shining in the sunshine at the moment here in Aragon. But, of course, this is round 2 here at Aragon. 7 days ago we're in Misano, kicking off the Global Series. Nerves were pretty high around about now, Matt.
Yeah, they really were. MotoGP eSport was back to its fairing, bashing best. Thank goodness I got that one out right. So let's remind ourselves what happened in Misano.
The lights went out on 2019 Global Series with an action-packed race at Mugello, with Andrew ZH getting the perfect start from pole position. The factory Ducati man was immediately put under all sorts of pressure from Christian MM17 behind them.
The reigning champion Trastevere eventually got the better of Eligos 555 in the fight for the final podium place, before then setting his sights on the duo ahead.
Both the Suzuki and the Yamaha riders pushed and pushed, but despite being the youngest man in the field at just 18 years of age, Andrew ZH showed experience beyond his years to ignore the pressure and hold on for a debut MotoGP eSport win.
Race 2 at the Red Bull Ring, though it may have seen a runaway winner, but there were some mouth-watering fights to behold, with a few surprises as well. Again, though, the pole man from pole position made it count as Christian MM17 avoided the chaos behind in the opening laps. That was just some of it there.
It was. Plenty of people going off track limits at turn number 1. Some of the pre-championship favourites began to lose out, though, when scrapping with some of the underdogs of the Global Series. KTM's Juan in 816 muscled his way through to second, but the fight of the night was the one we're seeing right there between two-time champion Trastevere and the Belgian rookie Moreira.
Well, starting from dead last on the grid, the Pramac Racing man forced his way past the factory Yamaha rider to clinch a debut podium in a thrilling fight.
So as a result of that one, that means the championship standings look like this ahead of 2 races this evening. Christian MM17 leading the way, arriving here at Aragon with the lead, 12 points clear of our race 1 winner, Andrew ZH.
Second place in Austria last time out means Juan NH sits third in the standings, but it's pretty tight inside the top 5, with the 2-time champion Trastevere and Christian's brother Adrian DP26 still well in contention for the 2019 title.
It certainly is all still to play for, especially with double points on offer at Valencia once we get to the final round of the season. But let's get the thoughts of our current series leader. Our first and second place in Misano means that he's sitting pretty at the top of the table, and Christian MM17 is alongside Amy.
Guys, he certainly is, guys. I have got our championship leader, Christian, and I have to say, Christian, after that first race at the Red Bull Ring, you were pretty modest about the win. Do you feel as though you've got a bit more to give tonight?
Misano was a great day for me, second and first. And today I have to do my best to win, but obviously I will try to win, but the most important thing will be taking points for the champions.
As you just said, Christian, obviously runner-up in race 1, a win in race 2, which meant you took home the lead in the championship standings. But what I think it's a really good example about how this year potentially we could see a new eSport world champion crown. Would you say that you've really benefited from having 6 races?
Yeah, for me it's better for everyone, because if you have a mistake or a crash, you can recover in the other race, so it's better also for me, I think, for everyone.
Christian, good luck tonight. I'm going to let you sit down and have a moment now. But ladies and gentlemen, Christian MM17.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks to Christian. Had a fantastic start to the year. But it's time now to put races 1 and 2 behind us and look ahead to what we've got coming up this evening in Aragon. Don't forget, this is the second round in the series here this evening. 3 events, of course, that we've got this year, with the final round in November at Valencia. They're taking on 2 long tracks, Matt and Jack, this evening in Sepang and Aragon. They had qualifying yesterday, this evening. Matt and Jack, let us know how they got on.
Yes, well, thanks, Gav. As we saw at the opening round, qualifying is so important, with both pole sitters going on to eventual victory.
Yeah, they certainly did. They had 20 minutes yesterday evening, so let's find out how the grid will shape up for the first of 2 races this evening at Sepang.
Well, the fight for pole position went right down to the wire, with the race 1 winner, Andrew ZH, coming out on top thanks to a superb final sector.
The 18-year-old jumped ahead of our championship leader, Christian MM17, as the pair first and second in the championship look set to go toe-to-toe for victory in Sepang.
The 2 title fighters are joined on the front row by Adrian DP26, who appears to be finally showing his form from the earlier stages by ending just a 10th behind the pole man.
But for the second time this season, and as a result, he's now leading the way in the Tissot Prize. It's that man right there, Andrew ZH, and talk about a superb final sector. He went orange, 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 but then made it count when it mattered in that last sector to jump 56 1,000ths of a second clear. And as you can see, he was pretty happy with it as well. So here's exactly how they're going to line up in Sepang. Andrew ZH on pole position with Christian MM17 and Adrian DP26 joining him on the front row. Juan in 816, Trastevere and Wimp will be on row number 2 with Moe, Eligos 555 and Ryoka on row number 3. And the final row of the grid, Mr. TFTW, Mireja and Bomber 45 aboard the Petronas Yamaha. So there is your pole man, Andrew ZH, getting ready to go in Sepang. Also leading the way in the Tissot Prize, as we said, as well, now with 2 pole positions to his name. But before we go racing in Sepang, let's give our gamers a few tips and tricks, Gav.
Yeah, our competitors might have already qualified at Sepang, but maybe a few of them do need a little extra helping hand. So here to take us through his lap of the track, here is LCR Honda man Takaaki Nakagami.
This is our team. This is, I think, my crew chief, Giacomo. Talking about for the strategy like this. Yeah, nice, looks good. Sepang is not easy track, but yeah, I like the track. Condition is a lot of humidity there, and also really the temperature is very high. So of course, during the race, it's so difficult to manage the good condition. With the Moto2, 2015, I think. I never got the podium, but that year was really close to the podium, so which is nice to memories there. The layout is quite nice and long track, a little bit mixed, and of course some point is a little bit like small corners, and especially last corner is really difficult to even stop the bike. But really nice. With the MotoGP bikes, I like to ride with this track. Overtake, I think the best point is turn 1 and the last corner, and also this is I think turn 9. The 3 point is a really hard braking area, so let's say everybody think about overtake these corners. Most important things, you have to keep the good tire alive, because it's a really long track and so easy to lose the tire life. So the most important thing is to have a good grip and until the end.
So there was Taka Nakagami taking us through Sepang, and please welcome the man himself up onto stage, LCR Honda Idemitsu's Taka Nakagami. Good evening, Taka.
Good evening, Taka.
There you are, you can take that. How are you doing? That was an interesting lap there of Sepang. That was maybe a bit more motocross than MotoGP.
Really bad to see. But anyway, first time I play with the 19 games was really difficult for me.
Well, I think we could see that.
Yeah.
I liked his walk into the box though. Do you come
Yeah.
in that happy every day waving to everyone?
Exactly the same.
It's so realistic.
Taka, in the video we just saw, you ran through some of the overtaking hotspots around Sepang.
Yeah.
From our first races in the Global Series, we saw a lot of wheel-to-wheel action. It's going to get really close out there tonight. Where do you think we're going to see the most action on track?
Well, as I said on the TV, in the turn 1,
Yeah.
and let's say I think I choose last corner. These 2 points will be the hot braking overtaking point.
We think we might see some fairing bashing.
Yes.
Going on like
Yes.
that. I think it's pretty certain that we'll see
Yeah,
that after what
yeah.
we saw from Misano. Taka, you mentioned there about the heat and humidity, that one of the difficulties of racing at Sepang. They don't need to worry about that, do they? How hard is it, though, out there on the bike at Sepang?
Really tough, really tough. I think the one of the difficult weekend. I think close to the Thailand, and but Malaysia is a little bit more. Also, the track layout is a little bit more longer and more physically is more heavy to riding. And also, as you know, the MotoGP bike is getting hotter and hotter. And on the qualifying lap is okay, but the race distance at end of, let's say, 7, 8 laps to go,
very tough. I mean, the engine is getting hotter and hotter, and all the bodies like lose the energy. So everything become very difficult end of the race.
Well, let's hope they're not sweating too much. I don't know, Amy, can we get them to turn the heating up in here? Is that
something we need to worry about the heating
hotter
tonight, Gav? It's more the wind. Taka, thank you so much for joining us here on stage tonight. Good luck for qualifying
Thank you very much.
tomorrow.
Thank you.
Guys, you've had your top tips there from Takaaki Nakagami. Let's give him a round of applause. Thank you so
Thank you very
much.
much.
Good luck.
Good luck, guys.
Stay with us, okay, Taka.
And with that
Okay.
being said, Matt and Jack, we're coming over to you because it's time for race one.
Well, I'll tell you what, if there is any heating going, we'd have it up here in our commentary booth, please. I mean, not long till we get to go racing now.
Yes, certainly not. It's time for race 3 of the Global Series. Let's go racing in Sepang. So welcome to the Sepang International Circuit in Malaysia, hosting round 3 of the Global Series, race 1 of the night here from Motorland Aragon. And it may say 37 degrees Celsius, but it's certainly not here at
Minus
the
37
moment.
up in the commentary booth, that's for sure. And actually with the wind, the racers might have a bit of added extra challenges of our notes flying in their faces at one point if we're not careful. So hands firmly on the desk as we get going with this one.
Just running through the grid for you, the front row, Andrew ZH, Christian MM17, the championship leader, and Adrian DP26. Row 2 sees Juan NH, Trastevere, and that man there, the Belgian rookie of Wimp.
Yes, onto the final row then we have Moe there. Sorry, the second to last row I should say. Ellie goes 555, the Repsol Honda rider there. And just alongside him we have Rioja on the Aprilia.
And the final row of the grid, the Australian Mr. TFTW, and joining him in 11th place will be the Brazilian rookie Moreira, and rounding out our 12 gamers on the Petronas Yamaha is Bomber 45.
Pretty sure Fabio Quartararo will be tuning in to cheer on his man. Well, the light's about to go red.
Here we go, watch the lights, they're going to go out very shortly in Sepang, and we'll be racing. Race 3 of the Global Series is underway. Super start from the back of the grid by Moreira. You see the guys swerving from left to right. It's a long run down to turn 1. The pole sitter already coming under all sorts of pressure from a man from row 3 on the grid. Rioja's taken the whole shot, but they all run wide, and it's the Suzuki that's going to pounce. It's Adrian DP26 that holds the lead on the curb on the inside. Oh, there's so much touching, front wheel to back wheel. Luckily everybody stays on, but it looks as though it's the number 26 of Adrian DP26 that's taken control of this one.
Oh, I thought someone was going to have a massive accident at the back there. That was the number 67, I think, in those forced corners. He's been pushed back, but Andrew ZH maintaining the lead there. This is Adrian 26 just behind though. Look at the Repsol Honda man, just up the inside of the 2-time world champion into 3rd.
Meanwhile, where's our series leader? The man that started from 2nd on the grid is down in 6th place at the moment. It's a disastrous start from him, but the man 12 points behind him in the championship. Andrew ZH may have had a tricky opening couple of corners, but he's found his rhythm now. He's hit the front and he's looking to break clear.
Yeah, this is really dangerous, Jack. We saw in some of the practice races they had back in Sepang yesterday. Oh, as Moe's gone down. Well, you can't give Andrew ZH any sort of breathing space here at Sepang. He looks so strong. Trastevere, he's on the hunt, up to 2nd place now.
What a move from the 2-time champion. He's dived under the inside of not only Ellie goes 555, but found room under Adrian DP26 as well. He needs a big result tonight after finishing 3rd and 4th in Massano, and he's certainly on course for it at the moment. Trastevere means business.
I tell you what, how many people are going to be going home with some of that Michelin rubber on the side of their leathers there after that one? I hope Mike is watching very, very closely indeed. But look at that, Juan NH on the hunt as well. P4 for him. He's going to be weaving all over the place as Ellie goes 555 to keep these guys out of his slipstream.
Here's your race leader then, Andrew ZH aboard the Ducati. Has already run one race this year so far at Mugello. The rear wheel trying to kick round, and Ellie goes 555, has crashed out. He was in podium contention. Juan NH in the back of the picture as well. He may well have just got caught up in that one, because he was coming through up to 4th place, was the man aboard the KTM, which leaves the 2 Suzuki brothers of Christian MM17 and Adrian DP26 now in a fight for the final podium place.
Oh, Trastevere really messed up turn 1 there. Poor Juan NH. Well, he ended up in not just in the gravel trap, but in Aragon after that sort of send-off at the final corner. I thought he was going to be on for a really great race there. Look at this. These are the Suzuki brothers then. They're on the hunt now, so your series leader, he is back in contention after what's been a disastrous first lap.
Well, let's hope these guys don't start clashing, otherwise Christmas dinner at the Adrian DP26 and Christian MM17 household will be interesting come Christmas time. But at the moment, they're keeping it nice and sensible. Trastevere still there in second place. He's got about a second to try and pull in on that man, your leader, Andrew ZH, looking to pick up a second victory of the Global Series.
This has got shades of Ducati performances at Sepang in years gone by. Got plenty of them in the audience watching this one as well. They're very keen to see their man do rather well here. Trastevere, he is still in the hunt though, but it is a Global Series, and maybe winter him getting more important at this second round, but he can afford to just sit back and have that second place though.
It's certainly not going to plan for this man. He's your series leader, 12 points. His advantage ahead of this one, but at the moment that's going to be cut, well, to pretty much nothing, because Andrew ZH is winning the race and Christian MM17 there in fourth. That was quick maths on my feet and I got it absolutely right, which is even surprising me. It will be nothing at this stage.
How about your maths from your sats there, Jack? It's still going strong even to this day. Bomber 45 in fifth place. They come from all the way from the back of the grid. What a performance that is so far. A real beneficiary of others' mistakes in these opening laps.
Well, we've seen it once already at the Red Bull Ring in Misano. Moreira, the Brazilian rookie, managed to come through from dead last on the grid to pick up a debut podium finish, and I think Bomber 45, having watched that performance, is thinking that he can do the same himself.
Well, look at that fast lap then from Andrew ZH, 1:54.861. That is seriously quick round here. So the fastest man on track is your race leader. That is good news for only him. Nobody else. That is terrible news for them, especially this man here, Trastevere, on the hunt, although he's still got, actually, Adrian DP26 and his brother, Christian MM17, in sort of touching distance just about, but a bit wide for Christian. He's not making any inroads on his brother.
He's not at the moment. It's about half a second off of the rear wheel of his older brother ahead of him, 22 years of age, is Adrian DP26, whereas his brother running number 25 is 2 years younger, 20, but his performance at the opening round in Misano was, well, quite a bit better than his older brother, which came to the surprise of many, because Adrian DP26 was probably one of the favourites coming into the Global Series after being fastest in 5 of the 6 online challenges. We're finally starting to see that sort of form in round 2 here in Aragon.
Tell you one man who's been having a bit of a roller coaster time of it so far is Wimp the rookie. He's been seriously quick, posting some pretty shockingly awesome lap times, but the results just haven't been there so far, have they, Jack?
No, they certainly haven't for the Belgian rookie. He's been qualifying fantastically well, but just hasn't been able to convert that into any sort of impressive results at the moment. But as a rookie, that can be expected. The bright lights of the Global Series can just affect the nerves of a few of them. Meanwhile, back at the front, that advantage for Andrew ZH, as you can see on the left-hand side of your picture, now under a second. Just 0.9 is the difference between the two Italians at the front of the race. And incidentally, only 8 laps here at Sepang, with it being a slightly longer lap. We'll see 10 laps at Aragon in a few moments' time once we go racing at race number 4, but 8 laps here, so as they come across the line now, that means half race distance has been completed, and the gap between the 18-year-old Italian and Trastevere, the 20-year-old Italian, is exactly 1 second.
Well, Italians at the front of MotoGP eSports here. It's all about these two. Do you wonder what that's going to end up doing to the championship, especially with Christian MM17 not making any inroads here? We got a ticker on our screen there. Incident between number 26, Adrian DP26, and number 91, Ellie Goes 555. Under investigation. I wonder what went on there, Jack.
Well, we know that Ellie Goes 555 crashed out. He's slowly starting to make his way back through the field, but that could have some pretty important consequences on the race result if Mike Lafuente, our race director, decides to put a penalty onto the number 26 of Adrian DP26. As soon as we get any news on that, we will bring it to you. But at the moment, as things stand, it will be a first podium finish of the season for Adrian DP26. But that's a big if, because he's going to have to hold off his brother. But a huge mistake from the series leader means that from being right on the rear wheel of his older brother, he's now a country mile behind him. What a crucial mistake that could be.
Yeah, he nearly absolutely sent it to the moon there, and he's making some really good progress onto the back of his brother's tail unit there. What a shame for him, but he's got it all to do now. Still just about halfway through this race now, so it's still all to play for. He needs that podium, does Christian MM17, because his biggest challengers are actually making way out front. Bomber 45 given a track limits warning at the moment. He's been bumped down to 6th place by Wimp, the rookie, up into 5th.
These guys have got 3 opportunities, 3 chances to exceed track limits. Once they have the 4th, a half a second penalty will be slapped upon them, so they need to be careful. At half race distance, just 1 or 2 been handed out. But it's as we get into the latter stages when you start to push, when you can smell a podium, the track limits may well be exceeded. Here is Wimp, the Belgian rookie. A good ride coming from him at the moment. It would be a first top 5 finish for him in the Global Series. 11th in race 1, 9th in race number 2. He was a bit unfortunate, got caught out in a couple of opening lap incidents, which meant he finished further down the order, but this is a much better showing coming from the Belgian.
I'll tell you what, there's somebody in the audience who'll be joining us in the commentary box a little bit later on who'll be very pleased to see his Tech 3 teammate doing rather well in this one. More on that later, of course. Here is your championship leader's brother, I should say, the number 26, Adrian 26. He's being caught by his brother, Christian MM17, once again. But Christian MM17 was given track limits warning. It seems as though he's not made any infractions since then. Got to be careful, but those gaps, they are sort of, well, it's being maintained at the front at least between these two.
Yeah, Andrew ZH doing a great job at the moment. This is pretty much as we saw in the Mugello. From the 18-year-old, he's the youngest man in the field, but he showed great experience there, despite pressure being heaped on him from Christian MM17 and Trastevere a week ago. He was able to hold off their advances, and so far so good for him at the moment. But Trastevere has certainly got other ideas. It's below a second once again. We're getting a few on-board shots from the Yamaha N1 of the factory Yamaha man. Big pressure on his shoulders. He's the only man signed to a factory team. At the start of the season, Monster Energy Yamaha went out of the way to make sure that they could have Trastevere on their books, and why wouldn't you? He's a 2-time champion, he's undefeated, but at the moment the Romans Empire is under siege here. Andrew ZH is looking to topple it.
The Roman Empire, very impressive that one, Jack, absolutely world class. That one where you could argue what was Ducati's loss was Yamaha's gain, or was it because Andrew ZH, well, that gap is starting to come down now, but it's going to become maybe a ding-dong battle before the end. We're coming around to finish now, lap 5 of this 8-lap race, so 3 more laps to go. Trastevere, he can smell blood. There's blood in the water. That gap is a lot less than it was before, but in that last sector, Trastevere did lose out a little bit to Andrew ZH once again.
It's not been reduced by much. He's chipping away bit by bit, and let's have a look at this race direction message. A 5-second penalty has been slapped on Adrian DP26 as a result of that incident with Eligos 555, which saw him crash out, which means that 5 seconds will drop him, well, possibly just 1 place down the order at the moment, maybe even 2, but he's certainly out of podium contention at the moment. It's bad news for him, but great news for his brother, because it's a further 3 points to Christian MM17's Global Series total, and as a result, if things stay that way, he'll hold on to his championship lead.
Yeah, it's all about now how much Adrian DP26 can stay focused with that sort of thing. You can't let it get to him too much. Despite that sort of penalty, can really play on your mind in these sorts of races. You just got to put it behind you, crack on. Do a little bit of a Valentino Rossi back at Phillip Island back in the day.
Well, he's not got long to pull in that sort of performance. Meanwhile, back at the front, and it's edging ever closer to about half a second. He's not making massive inroads, is Trastevere, but bit by bit he is just closing in on Andrew ZH at the front of this race. But as we've said, time is running out. There's just over 2.5 laps remaining now at Sepang. It's race number 3 of the Global Series, and it looks like it's going to go right down to the wire.
Oh, Trastevere is closing up on him, but he's going to lose a lot of drive out that corner onto this back straight now, having sacrificed that with a much tighter line. Interesting as Andrew ZH, although these bikes are equal in performance, there's no real differential. He's riding it just like a real Ducati. Yeah,
trying to take that wider line there through the penultimate corner, and once again at the final corner as well, to get as much power and punch down the start-finish straight and the back straight as he can. And he's doing that pretty well at the moment, because Trastevere just isn't able to close in. With only 2 laps remaining now, he's certainly not close enough to put a move in on the Italian riding the Ducati ahead of him.
No, he's absolutely not. It seems as though those first couple of sectors he's managed to make some inroads on him, but that final one really, really gets him. Andrew ZH has got that final corner. Well, those tight corners, firing it out to the straight, down to a T. Well, it's all about these penultimate laps then. Just a bit of a pirouette then, looking around into this onboard view. Look at that helmet design, though. He's certainly baring his teeth in this race, showing what he can do. I've not been practicing that line at all, have I, Jack?
He's certainly on it, is Andrew ZH. Despite Trastevere, again, chipping away lap by lap. unfortunately, well, for his sake, not for Andrew ZH's sake, he just can't get close to him. 18 years of age, as we've already said, the youngest man in the field, but this is such maturity, such experience from him, just to keep hitting his markers, keeping his rhythm, keeping his consistency, and so far, so good for the man aboard the Ducati.
Got a little bit of rear pumping action there for Trastevere coming out that corner into this straight here, and this is part of the track which he really makes these inroads. Just seem to be finding it a lot easier to manage the corners there, but look at the wide lines Andrew ZH will be taking there to fire it out onto these straights.
Well, we saw him qualifying yesterday, he pulled it back in the final sector. He clearly does have a little bit of an advantage over the Yamaha behind him once we get into the final part of this Sepang circuit, which we are now in. Now you'll see them brake hard and flick right as well. So easy to tuck the front there. I know when I was playing it, doing my practice before I got here, nearly every lap the front folded on me, which proves why I'm sat here and not where those guys are.
Oh, Jack, don't put yourself down. You'll be here next year and I'll be the one commentating on you. I can't wait for that. Well, into the final corner for the penultimate time. Trastevere is breathing down his neck. Moe's gone down, but look at that. Whoa, that was a little bit of a tease there. I thought Andrew ZH was going to get caught a little bit by Trastevere. But coming out the final turn, what's the gap going to be over the line? It's half a second now. It's half a second between the two leaders here. 1 lap to go. Just under 2 minutes of racing left.
The race is on. Can Andrew ZH hold off the advances of Trastevere? He's just slightly wide there through the opening corner once again. And possibly again, he misses the apex on the inside, allowing Trastevere just to edge ever closer. He's certainly not close enough for a move into turn 3 here, despite trying his absolute best, the 2-time world champion. Unfortunately, he just can't get close to the Ducati.
This is really becoming a question of tyre wear there. He does look as though he's making inroads on him, but that Ducati just fires so well out the corners. Whatever line choice Andrew ZH is taking is doing him rather well, but is it chewing up that rear Michelin?
It certainly looks like it is. Tyre wear for the first time in MotoGP eSport, playing a huge part this year. Tyre wear is on, which means that these guys will be coming under a little bit of trouble now on the 8th and final lap. As you can see them both taking the perfect line there. We've only got half a lap remaining for these guys to settle race 3 of the Global Series. Will we see Andrew ZH pick up victory number 2, or will Trastevere be back on top in 2019?
Well, it doesn't look good at the moment because Andrew ZH has eked out another couple attempts in that sector. So this is the part of the circuit where he loses out a little bit more. Looks like it could be Andrew ZH's to lose at the moment. It definitely is. Will he take charge of the Global Series? Potentially. Depends on what happens with Christian MM17, your leader at the moment.
Into the final sector, just 2 corners remaining. Again, Andrew ZH takes that super wide line. Cuts it off though, gets a great drive down to the final corner. It's going to take a mistake from the 18-year-old to allow Trastevere to pick up a first win of 2019. Hard onto the brakes one last time, flick it left. He's got well over a second now as Andrew ZH. Another imperious performance from the man from Bologna. He gets it onto the rear wheel, comes across the line, and it's victory number 2 in 2019 for Andrew ZH. Trastevere, a best result for him in 2nd place, and the final podium place, despite Adrian TP coming across the line in 3rd, will go the way of his younger brother Christian MM17. And Trastevere, you'd have thought, might have been slightly disappointed by that one, but a fist pump shows that it's the best result of the year, and it also proves that he's back in the title hunt.
Yeah, exactly, Jack. The most important thing is that this is a global series now. There are 6 races that we have. That was race number 3. So podiums at this sort of stage are more important necessarily than wins.
It's all closing up at the top now. Christian MM17 started that race 12 points better off. It's now just 3. That man right there, Andrew ZH, can smell a championship lead heading into the final round at Valencia.
Well, can't wait for the race that we've got a little bit later on. Of course, here in Aragon as well. Going to be a bit of a different story, perhaps. Andrew ZH, he was the man to beat round at Sepang, but who's been the man to beat round at Aragon? Not long until we find out what went on in qualifying, of course.
Certainly is. Right, let's have a look at some of the highlights from that opening race here at Motorland Aragon. Murray has started from the back of the grid, but got an absolutely dynamite start aboard the Pramac Ducati. We were, 4, 5, 6 abreast going into the first corner. The poleman Andrew ZH was pushed wide by the KTM and the Aprilia of Juan and H and Rioja, and it was Adrian DP26 who pounced, but a smart move coming from Andrew ZH allowed him to take control of the race, and from then on in, well, It was exactly as we saw in Mugello. He chipped away sector by sector, lap by lap, and nobody could close in on the 18-year-old.
No, he really couldn't. Well, are we going to get a glimpse of one of the moments that was the most controversial of the race so far? Eligo's 555 wiped out by Adrian DP26. I think that came a little bit later on, actually. But that was the moment that Trastevere, the double world champion, moved up into second place, hunting down this man here.
Certainly showed his class there, did Trastevere, moving past not one but two of his title rivals. But despite showing his class and pulling out a double overtake, he just couldn't find the pace to chip away at this man, Andrew ZH. Again, super impressive aboard that Desma Sedici. Morejo, meanwhile, further down the field, chipped away from the back of the grid, and it was another impressive result from the Brazilian rookie. Wasn't able to back it up with another podium finish, as we saw at the Red Bull Ring a week ago, but good performance once again from the man competing in the Global Series for the very first time.
Well, this was before Adrian DP26 realised that he had a 5-second penalty for his antics between himself, there he is, and Eligo's 555. This would be the moment that he heard that. So what will that do to the results? Well, Jack, you have to get your SAT maths out again. But this was the onboard view, and I tell you what, I thought there was some weird technical problem happening there when we saw that view of Trastevere. Just another great shot there as Andrew ZH came across the line to secure that victory.
Fist bump from Trastevere, but a slightly more emphatic one from Andrew ZH. And here are the final results. As we knew, a second winner 2019 for Andrew ZH, joined on the podium by Trastevere, with Christian MM17 taking the final podium place because that 5-second penalty demotes Adrian DP down to 5th place, with Wimp taking a best finish of the year in 4th.
Well, after then, though, Eligo's 555 managed to move his way up to 6th from Bomber 45. Juan and H, after sending it nearly to Aragon in the penultimate corner, went to 8th place. Riorca 9th, Morehat 10th, Mr. TFTW 11th, not last this time. Excellent stuff from him. Moe back down in 12th after that accident.
Well, the championship has taken a big shuffle once again. Will it take another one in race 2? Before that, Gavin and Amy are down with your podium finishes from race number 1 in Sepang.
Thanks, guys. Great work. That was such a great race to start us off this evening. Another perfectly controlled one, Gav, by Andrew ZH.
Yeah, and Christian MM here in 3rd place, taking full advantage of his brother's penalty there to get him back on the podium for the 3rd time this year. Let's have a round of applause for our podium finishers. In 3rd place, Christian MM. 2nd place for the reigning 2-time champ, Trastevere.
But our winner, once again, it's Andrew ZH. Andrew, obviously that was your 2nd race win of the championship, but you could see that Trastevere was piling the pressure on you in those final few laps.
Yes, I'm very, very happy for my 2nd win. The race was similar to my first win in Mugello, no? And Trastevere was very fast, so I had a lot of pressure. But Sepang is one of my favorite circuits. It's very long, so difficult, and also so large, so there is some possibility for some trajectory. And I'm very happy. I will try to give my best in the 2nd race in Aragon, and yeah.
Good luck, well done.
Thanks.
Yeah, you can all go back to your seats now because there is no time for resting on their laurels. We are straight in to race 2 of the evening, and now they're going to take on the track that we are broadcasting from this evening. Yes, it is the Motorland Aragon Circuit coming up next, a track of 2 distinct halves. Mac, do the bits for us, please.
Yeah, cheers, Gav, as you rightly say. A quick turnaround for these guys. We're back into it straight away.
Yes, well, a very quick turnaround, and let's see how qualifying shaped up from yesterday.
And for the very first time in 2019, 2-time champion Trastevere will start from pole position after picking up a 2nd place there in Sepang after getting the better of Adrian DP26 with a late flying lap.
The 22-year-old Spaniard is the only man to start both of tonight's races from the front row after an early lap was enough for 2nd place.
But possibly the performance of Thursday evening again came from the Belgian rookie Wimp after he stuck the Red Bull KTM Tech 2 machine that will please the man sat to my left on the outside of the front row.
No spoilers yet, Jack. Andrew ZH, he may well be up towards the sharp end, but he holds the lead in the Tissot Watch Prize thanks to grabbing pole for 2 of the 4 races.
So there is Trastevere, over a 1/10 of a second clear at Aragon. Does the 2-time world champion have a little bit of an advantage here ahead of race number 4, who's pretty pleased with the first pole position of 2019. He's going to be joined on the front row by Adrian DP 26 and Wimp with row number 2. Christian MM17, our race winner last time out, Andrew ZH down in 5th, and then Ellie Ghost 555.
Moe is 7th from Rioja on that Aprilia. Juan and H16 on the KTM will be starting from 9th. Bomber 45 in 10th. Mr. TFTW in 11th. And Mareja, the Brazilian, in 12th.
And to help us talk you through race number 2 of the evening from Aragon is this man, Red Bull KTM Tech 3's Hafizh Syahrin.
Hi guys, thank you for inviting me here.
Are you right? Do you need a jacket? It's a bit cold up here.
It's okay.
Yeah, apologies for the wind as well. It is a little bit windy up here. So Hafizh, we're about to go racing in Aragon. What are the challenges of tackling this circuit?
For me, this circuit is a bit tricky in the first part because in the turn 4 it's not easy to carry the high speed with the bike. You need a lot of confidence with the bike, so this is the part of the little bit difficult. The race is quite similar, but this is I'm looking to improve tomorrow also.
Well, we'll get your thoughts on some of the overtaking opportunities once we get underway as well. But it's time for race 2 of the evening. Let's go racing in Aragon. So slightly familiar surroundings for us here. We're broadcasting live from Motorland Aragon, and race number 4 of the Global Series is from the exact circuit as well.
A little bit cooler in the air temperature they've got there, and I hope the wind's died down a little bit as well. As you can see, Trastevere, the 2-time world champ, starts from pole alongside Adrian DP26, and then rounding out the first row, we have this man's teammate, it's Wimp.
On the Red Bull KTM Tech 3, fronting row number 2, Christian MM17 just hanging on to that championship lead ahead of this man, Andrew ZH aboard the Ducati, and 6th on the grid looking to bounce back after a little bit of drama in the one at Sepang. It's Ellie Ghost 555.
Just a quick one, Hafizh, how nervous are you getting on the grid at this point? Is it really, really, really tense?
Yeah, it looks like real, and I'm also like gamers a lot, so here I'm really happy to be here today, and I hope all the riders in this eSport game can do all the best and enjoy, and I wish all the best to my teammate number 3.
Well, he's starting from 3rd on the grid. How can Wimp get on? The lights have gone out in Aragon. There's Mr. TFTW getting not the best of starts, but back at the front. Trastevere starting from pole. Can he take the whole shot? He's a little bit wide, but he just about hangs on around the outside, despite pressure from Adrian DP26. And Hafizh, you'll be pleased to see that your man, the Belgian rookie Wimp, is well in podium contention there. A great start settling into 3rd.
Gosh, Trastevere got off like a scolded cat, didn't he? But he's got Adrian DP26 just behind him. Wimp looking very good on that Tech 3 machine. Not quite as mad down into turn 1 as we saw in Sepang, though, Jack.
He's a little bit calmer this time around. I think these guys are just getting used to it now. But let's have a look where our series leader is. His advantage only 3 points. And again, he's got a disastrous start. Down in 8th place. Now 7th, Christian MM17. And you can hear the moans and groans from Hafizh because his man has just been demoted off the podium.
How chaotic are these first laps, Hafizh? It must be super, super difficult, especially at a track like Aragon with so many overtaking opportunities.
For me, it's not easy in this circuit in Aragon because...
sorry, we got the championship leader down, Christian MM17. Well, that just goes to show how hard it can be.
Yeah, in the first corner it was always tricky to all the category, you know, especially also MotoGP is very short, and then you use the first gear quite long and with the power. So sometimes you can make a mistake and you take out. Sometimes it can be take out all the rider, you know.
Oh, well, I tell you what, that was a nasty accident for your championship leader there. Really lost it on the curb. Looks pretty easy for you guys to do that here as well.
Yeah, but looks a little bit strange, and then the championship leader was crashed in the strange way. But this is the race, part of the life. Sometimes happen.
Well, he's got to refocus himself now as Christian MM17 because the man that is fighting for the championship with. He's in third place at the moment. He's having a big look up the inside of his brother. Well, how much will Adrian DP, the older brother of Christian MM17, do him a favour? Can he hold off the man that's second in the championship? Meanwhile, Trastevere, having finished second in the first race, is looking for a first victory of 2019, and that will well and truly put him back into the title picture.
Well, just like the Yamaha's on track today, that Monster Energy Yamaha looking very, very good in esports as well today. We're on lap 2 already. Andrew ZH though, he's not going to let these guys get away, but look at this, what a performance from Wimp. We said with the Sepang race, Wimp a great qualifier, but just really struggled to put it together in the races.
But finally he's starting to do that. He's got a little bit of motivation from the man to my left, another of the Red Bull KTM Tech 2 riders. How good is it to see your man fighting for the podium, Hafizh?
I'm really cheering for him, and good to see him.
Who was that? Oh, that was Adrian DB26. It was Christian M17's brother.
Well, they've both gone down. Both Suzukis have crashed out in a dramatic opening couple of laps in Aragon. It's a disaster for the X-Star Suzuki team with Adrian DP26 in 11th and his brother down in 12th. The pair of them were fighting at the front throughout the opening 3 races of the season, but what a disaster. Let's have a look at how it happened.
Talk us through this a little bit, Hafizh, getting a bit wide there, and then what happened? Just, over the curbs.
I think that corner cannot take the curve, you know, in turn 10 in this game. But something little bit strange crash. But yeah, I cannot say more, but this is a little bit easy to crash in that place, so in this game. But I hope all the rider cannot don't touch the curb in turn 10.
Well, talking about touching, your man Wimp closed right in onto the rear wheel of Andrew ZH then. If there wasn't contact, there was absolutely nothing between them. Fortunately, both stay on. But as a result of that crash for Adrian DP26, it now means that the Belgian rookie is up into third place and staring a debut trip to the podium in the face. But forget about third place. He wants second. He's piling the pressure onto our race winner of Sepang from a few moments ago.
Yeah, he really is, but these guys don't seem to be making many inroads on Trastevere. He's got that 8/10 gap, or maybe he is. It depends on what part of the circuit we're looking at, but Trastevere, a bit of a moment there, coming out of the reverse corkscrew. You saw that rear end twitch. Well, it could cause trouble a little bit later on. Be careful with the tyre wear.
We've got a long way to go in this one. 10 laps, unlike the 8 that we saw at Sepang. So Trastevere, well, he's watched and learned how to hold off some pressure from Andrew ZH in race number 1. Can he now put those tips and tricks that he managed to pick off from the other Italian in race number 1 to good use here in Aragon?
This is looking like a real coming-of-age ride from Wimp on that Tech 3 Yamaha. They're just sticking with these leaders rather well, and it does look like that gap could be coming down a little bit. And is he close enough now to be in the slipstream of this 900-metre or so long straight here in Aragon?
You can see him on the left of your picture there, a big breath down the monstrous back straight here in Aragon. An opportunity just for him to have a glance to his left-hand side, see how everybody else is doing before getting hard on the brakes, and you can see the concentration from the pair of them now.
Well, look at that. Race direction have been showing a sign of Christian MM17. A reckless riding sort of dash message for him then. I wonder what incident that's relating to.
Well, possibly the incident that saw him crash out. I would doubt that because we saw a replay of it. Maybe he's just got past the Australian of Mr. TFTW and he's been, well, a little bit rude to the Australian on his way through, which we don't like to see. Mr. TFTW again battling out there, but one of the characters of the 12 gamers out there.
Yes, absolutely, definitely agree with that. And look at this, these guys are not letting him get away. Well, Wimp is certainly not letting Andrew ZH get away too much, but Trastevere just pulling out a bit of a lead now. And Hafizh, just we get into these sort of mid stages of the race, talking about tyre wear, how difficult are some of these corners? Negative camber with that sort of tyre wear and grip.
Yeah, especially in the turn 3, turn 2, 3, and this corner that use the tire quite a lot, and also the turn 10, exit of turn 9, you are not really pick up the bike, you are more or less on the edge side of the tire you use, and also this backs, the second back straight before turn 12 is also straight but with the banking, so you use a lot of power on the bike and also push to the tire and easy to destroy the tire. That's very important to make sometimes you can make a long run. We have a FP4, we try to make a long run to understand which tire that to give more stability and better traction. For example, we race 23 laps. We know that we cannot keep the tire until 23 laps. At least more than half the lap, we need to save the tire, and then before the end of the race, we need to use the potential of the tire.
There's a replay of Adrian DP26's earlier crashing out of podium contention. A big high side just as he got onto the edge of the curve out of turn number 10. That means he's fallen back to 10. And now, as we see these battles further down the field, could play a pivotal role ahead of the season finale, because both Adrian DP26 and, more importantly, his brother behind him, Christian MM17, are well in title contention, so they may only be fighting for 1 or 2 points. But how vital will they be? They need to make sure they can get ahead of Moreira, because the Brazilian at the moment, without being too unfair to him, is just holding up the guys behind them, and it looks as though both Suzukis have finally got ahead of the Pramac Ducati.
I'm looking at the gap up front, Jack, and it's really got a yo-yo effect going on. Last time around it was looking a bit more distance between Trastevere and Andrew ZH, but now it's down to 7/10, and Wim is even right on the back of Andrew ZH's Ducati as well now.
He's really tucking in. This is a superb ride coming from Wim. We saw a rookie get onto the podium in the Red Bull Ring just a week ago, and it looks as though we might see another one jump up onto the podium in Wim this time around. Still 5 laps to go though, plenty that can happen, and don't count out, we've not even mentioned him. Ellie goes 5.55 aboard the Repsol Honda. He was absolutely superb before we got to the Global Series, with a handful of fastest laps in the online challenges. He was 2nd overall in the final draft as well. Meanwhile, this is the pivotal overtake, or could well be, as both Suzuki squeezed through, and there goes Christian MM17 ahead of his brother. Whoa, what sort of a run he got out of the final chicane there. Did the series leader. He went past him with absolute ease.
Yes, he really did, and managed to hold the line through the final corner again, then onto this home straight. Well, we're on lap 6 of 10 now, and it's a real salvage mission from your championship leader. Will he be at the end of this time around? All depends on what happens with these guys up front, but look at that. As we've been looking at those guys back down the field, Trastevere's lead has come down to only 4/10 from this man there, Andrew ZH. You can even see him now.
Is he starting to feel the pressure of the Ducati and the KTM breathing down his neck? He may well be a 2-time champion, but he's not got off to the greatest start in 2019. This victory is absolutely crucial.
Well, they're getting so close now, Hafizh. It looks as though we could be in the slipstream zone coming down the back straight. How important is that to not only try and get in the slipstream, but brakes early enough so you don't run wide at the final turn?
Yes, for me, if Ducati is very close to the opponent, that number 1, for sure they can pass in the slipstream, because I like to play game, and also if you play and you take the slipstream, you feel the bike also going like a real, in the life. So this is very important to make a good exit in turn 15, and then you can control the straight before arriving in the last corner.
That's exactly where we are at the moment. Half a second the gap, is that enough to feel a slipstream effect?
Half a second, not much, but for sure it's still helping a little bit to arrive in the last corner, to gain some few tenths, But if you are very close, like the 0.1, sometimes you can overtake the other rider in the back straight before arriving in the last corner braking. This is the reality, that if you are very close, you can. But it depends. If you make a good exit into 15, you can do well in the back straight. You can pass the rider and you can break the rider in the last corner. But if you don't do well in the second last corner, it's difficult for you to pass in the back straight, because it depends. And also we know this track in the straight, Ducati are very strong, so we need to prepare our turn.
There's only a handful of laps remaining now, so I'm sure that Hafizh will be right. It's all going to be decided down into that final sector. As you say, a drive out of turn 15 could well decide which way this race is going to go.
Yes, it really could, and just that gap is coming down yet again. This is the closest it's actually been for some laps now since the start of the race. Only a few more laps to go, although Trastevere just manages to pull out a little bit more in that more technical section there. But is that going to last when we get onto the back straight? This is the section that Hafizh Syahrin was just talking about, how important it is. You're setting up for the back straight all the way from here. Oh, look at that. Andrew ZH closing right in on Trastevere now. But it looked like last time Trastevere got an awesome drive out there, and yes, he did yet again. Andrew ZH can't get in his slipstream, Jack.
Yeah, it's great stuff from Trastevere. He looks like he's got that final sector down to an absolute T, and if you're going to get one sector right, that is probably the best one to do so, because it means you can hold off any late lunges on the final couple of laps. We're just into the final corner now, the double apex left-hander. You'll see them come over the crest. There's the start-finish line right there, which means we've got just 3 laps remaining in Aragon.
Trastevere definitely takes a bit of a different line to some of those other guys on track there, and it seems to really work for him. Are they watching him? Can they learn as they're going around this track from the double world champ? Because it looks as though if it's anything like it was just that last couple of times around, no one is going to get him on that final corner, and they're definitely not going to get him on a run to the line.
Here's the fight further behind. Christian MM17, the series leader, after a crash on the opening lap of the race, has started to make progress back through the field. He's got in front of Mr. TFTW, then Mareja, then his brother Adrian DP26. He's only just got in front of the Indonesian Moe, and now he's all over the rear wheel of the Petronas Yamaha Bomber 45. It's a great salvage job coming in from this man right here, the number 25, and there he does, again picking off another man, up to 7th place now for Christian MM17.
How about that for an overtake? That was absolutely class. Right into this reverse corkscrew. We had Marc Marquez have a crash down there earlier on today, and a bit of negative camber there. So easy to lose the front end.
For me, turn 8 is very tricky because it's I think it's off camber there, and then also you need to prepare a little bit better for the 9. If you are going a little bit too much in the turn 8, like today, I feel in the limit a little bit on the front tire because we try a little bit too much, and I went wide. So, and I saw Mark crash there because for sure Mark is always try something to improve.
Absolutely.
You know? But that place is easy to crash, easy to lose the front because it's a downhill, and then also it's off camber, so difficult to stop the bike. That's why that place in the race we need to know how to manage the front tire, and also try to understand where's the limit.
Well, as we spoke a little bit about earlier, this is the part of the race where tyre wear really comes into it. Got to be extra careful on those off-camber bits. And look at that, a track limits warning for your championship leader there. You can even see the tyre wear on that rear Michelin now. But of course, first time this has actually come into the eSports Global Series so far in its 3rd year of running.
And you can possibly put an argument together that the man currently holding on to 3rd place, Wimp, is coming under a little bit of tyre difficulty because he was right on the rear wheel of Andrew ZH just 2 laps ago, but now he's 1.9 seconds behind. Can he hold on in the final 1.5 laps? Ellie goes 5.55, closing in at a great rate of knots. Or I'm sure for Hafizh's sake, he's hoping that he can hold on to a debut podium finish.
Yes, hopefully so for his sake, for Trastevere and Andrew ZH. Well, it's a proper yo-yo effect going on, as I mentioned earlier. One sector, Andrew ZH is closing right in on him by a couple of tenths. Another one, Trastevere, eking out that lead yet again, but at the moment, under 4 tenths, he's right on the back wheel. This should be a possible time where he can get in the slipstream. He's right behind him now. It's all about this drive out onto the straight. Trastevere just gets a little bit the better of him there. He's all the way off the track limits there. This is the penultimate lap. Next time we come around, it's the time to make your move if you want the win.
It's a role reversal from no more than 20 minutes ago. It's Sepang in the opening race. We saw Andrew ZH hold off pressure from Trastevere. This time around, the 2-time world champion is going to have to hold off pressure from the youngest man in the fields, the man only with 2 victories to his name so far. Can he hold on in this final lap? He just has to be careful again, Trastevere, through that final corner, possibly just exceeding track limits. Mike, our race director, will be watching this battle at the front. Remember, if you have 4 penalties against you, 4 times that you exceed track limits, half a second will be slapped onto you, and as things stand with the gap under half a second, that would see a change for the lead. We're into the final half of the lap now. You can see the rear wheel twitching from left to right as both of them ask for the power. Is Andrew ZH close enough for a move, Hafizh, at the moment?
No, well, probably not, is he?
Looks like the two rider in the front looks confident and control the race. And I'm really excited to see the number 3. It's a rookie that from Belgium. We do well, and we try to do our weekend strong. Also try to give everything what we have, and I hope I can do well and try to see this final lap, and I hope Wim can take the podium.
Meanwhile, we're into the final chicane now, turn 15. Trastevere, half a second clear. A little bit of a twitch from the Desma Sadici behind him, but he's starting to close in, is he? The Yamaha M1, can he hold him off? Here comes Andrew ZH, a defensive line being held. The Ducati's going to go around the outside of him. Who's going to hold the advantage? Trastevere dives under the inside.
Oh, they're both on the track, Jack. Who's going to be on the run to the line?
Trastevere's trying to hold off. Will it be a first victory in 2019 for the two-time champion? They're side by side, but it's Trastevere that takes the win.
How about that?
What a race at Aragon. Andrew ZH throwing the kitchen sink at the two-time champion, but Trastevere holds off. It's a first win in 2019, but more importantly, he is back in the hunt for a third consecutive MotoGP eSport championship.
I'll tell you what, Andrew ZH, you can tell he's still a bit happy with that one, as you should be. I mean, what effort that was into the final laps there. Absolutely awesome. Look at this drive out onto the straight.
Talk us through it, Hafizh. What a final sector.
Yes, as I told you before, if you prepare the turn 15 very well, and you can make a slipstream not easy, but easy to pass the rider if you prepare well. Looks like the two-time champion make a small line in the turn 15, so the second one take a little bit wider, and that's why they can pass in the straight. And this happen also sometime in real life when you race. So if some rider very close behind you, for sure you need to close that line, but sometimes not happen good in the last corner like we saw today. But number 1 managed very good to close the line and go in, and very, very nice.
And more importantly, that man right there, styling the exact same shirt that you've got on. It's a podium finish for KTM Tectois, and you're delighted with it. Right, let's take a look at the highlights from race 2, and what a race 2 it was as well.
Well, it was a bit of a questionable start from the Australian on that Avintia Ducati. He'll be ruining that sort of mistake, but he's got time to work in it for the final round in Valencia. A slightly less chaotic start and the first corner to get us underway with. But that man, Trastevere, well, he only had one other challenge for the win after this point.
He certainly did. A first pole position in 2019, and he put it to good use by taking the whole shot. Some drama on the first lap, though, as Christian MM17, previously absolutely perfect in 2019, crashed out on the opening lap, which absolutely swung the door wide open in the hunt for the 2019 MotoGP eSport World Championship.
Oh, what a crash that was there from Adrian DP26. A day to forget. Well, a second race to forget, I should say, for the Suzuki brothers. Although a bit of a salvage job at the end of it. This was part of it, making a move up the inside of Malaysia. Suzuki boys working perfectly in tandem.
And then Christian MM17 got the better of his brother as he tried to put damage limitation to good use. You can see the focus of him there. He knew he had a job on his hands to try and limit that damage.
Yes, he absolutely did. Well, this was a replay of the final corner then. Trastevere absolutely not letting Andrew ZH go up the inside of him with that run to the line. So close, neck and neck, but he finally took his first win in 2019.
MotoGP eSport delivering once again with some last lap, last corner drama. Andrew ZH coming across the line in seconds, but Trastevere, the two-time champion, finally will stand on the top step of the podium in 2019. Wimpel rounded out in third, ahead of Eligos 555, Juan in H16, Christian MM17, Rioja, Moe, Adrian DP26, Mareja, Mr. TFTW, and Bomber 45.
I'll tell you what, Jackie, getting a lot better at reading out those names with speed as well. I'm absolutely exhausted after that one. Thank goodness, though, got all the way until Valencia to recover, where I remind you, double points on offer, 100 points on the table available.
He's going to go right down to the wire there. Our thanks to Hafizh Syahrin for joining us in the commentary box. Good luck this weekend. Fabio Quartararo picked up a best result of his career when he joined us, so no pressure, mate.
We try our best. Thank you.
Right, let's get down to Gavin and Amy with our podium finishers.
Yeah, what a race we had right at the end there. The two Italians doing battle. But let's celebrate. First podium in his rookie season. In third place is Wimp. In second place is Andrew ZH.
But victorious in Aragon, it's our two-time eSport world champion, Trastevere. Trastevere, that was such a dramatic race. I had my eyes closed for that final lap, I'm not going to lie. But just tell us, how does it feel to finally get a race win this season under your belt?
Yeah, I'm very happy. This weekend is magnificent for me, first and second, so I'm happy. This race was similar to Sepang, but more close. Half second here, 1 second in Malaysia. At the last lap, I did 2 mistakes in the last 2 corners, and you very close. Was very close. I try. I have to try. I tried, and fortunately, not crash. We not crash, and amazing. This is a beautiful point also for the championship, and amazing weekend.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
An absolutely stunning race from you, Trastevere. Gav, is it going to get any more dramatic than that? I can't stand it.
Absolutely brilliant, wasn't it? First win of the season for our reigning champion. Let's have a quick look at what that does. As regards the championship, looks very tight at the top now. We can see, if we could just get the come up there, you can see Andrew ZH here is in top spot on 78. Trastevere there on 74. Christian MM in third place on 72 with that 6th that he recovered after that first lap crash. And that is all from us here in Aragon. The championship shaping up nicely for that final round, which is still to come in the MotoGP eSports Global Series. Who is going to be the champion at the end of the season? You'll have to join us at that final race of Valencia. Don't forget, it's double bubble when we get to Valencia. 100 points still on offer. Anyone could still win it. We've had another fantastic evening of eSport action here in Aragon. Thanks to all the gamers here tonight. Thanks to Matt and Jack. Thanks to Amy too. We will see you next time for the final round of the series. That's in mid-November in Valencia. From us all here, good night.